Hi there, my name is Zach, and I have the goal of reaching the Brisbane Olympics 2032 marathon. Now, as you can see on the screen right here, these are my current PBs, and I'm a long way from making that dream a goal. But I'm hoping, with a lot of determination, patience, and hard work, that I can make it. I would love it if you guys could join me on my journey to go from a below average runner, to a pro. With that said, let's get into today's video. Welcome to a lovely 5:30 a.m. morning. I'm wearing thermals today, just to start off, but it's actually barely 10 degrees right now. Boiling. It was a bit stormy overnight, so it's still a little bit windy. Now this is my last big session before I do the Goulburn Half Marathon. Today we're doing 2 by 15 minutes of sweet spot. Hopefully the wind's not too bad. I don't know what you guys can hear. See if I can edit anything out. Now the plan for the half marathon is I think it's in about 3 weeks time. Is the first 5k will be at 280 watts, second 5k at 290, then 300, and the last 600k at 310. If you average those power numbers out, we reach an average of 295 watts, which is what I'm going to do today. My 2x50s will be at 295 watts. So last week I did 2 hours straight at 285 watts, 210 watts lower. I was around about 605 to 610 per K pace. Let's get into it. Whew, okay, that's our first rep done. First of two lots of 50, and that was good. My heart rate couldn't get up. It was stuck below the mid 160s. I think it might be a bit of fatigue. I've been basically non-stop all block. You know, I had 2.5 weeks of illness, and then two weeks. The last 2 weeks were second and third biggest weeks ever. So obviously I'm going to have some fatigue. So that's what I think it might be. Why I can't get my heart rate up. But in terms of power and pace, I'm pretty happy with that. So it averaged about 305 watts. So obviously that's 10 watts more than I want. But I was happy with that, about 8.5k. And I think it's about 5:45 pace. Whatever it is, it's on the screen now. So I'm just walking for a little bit now while it's recovery. And we'll get into the next rep next, but I'll recap when I get home. So I'll see you guys there. All right, I'm back. I've showered. I've changed. I'm here with my protein shake after that run, and I'd love to go through the session. It was mint. Now, I've got. So I'm still undecided before I go into the data. So obviously I used the Hoka Mac X2 on this run. The first interval, my right foot had some hot spots, and then it went a bit numb. It disappeared once I recovery between sets, and then it was the right foot that had the issue, and a bit of a calf Achilles problem at the back at the moment. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. So if I don't use the Mac 2, I've got the Hoka Carbon X, which is my older race shoe, and this is the one I did my last half marathon in. And I still use it every couple of weeks on my tempo build runs. So it feels good. I know the shoe. I'm comfortable. I'm confident. So we'll decide on the day which shoe I use. Because in the next couple of weeks, it's just easy runs. So I've done 2 weeks of hard sessions. So last week was the 2-hour tempo. This week was the 2x50 sweet spot. Next 2 will just be easy runs. And next week as well, as I said earlier, is recovery week. So not only is it easy, it's shorter and even easier. So I'm not going to be using either of these shoes the next couple of weeks. The next time I'll be using it will be the Goulburn race. With all that out of the way, let's get into the session. Okay, and so here it is. This is my stride for the session, and you can see here it is, an hour 52 minutes long. I did 200 meters of elevation, and here's the 2x50. So this is the first one, and you can see I averaged 307 watts for 546 per K. Now, as I said a bit earlier, during, when I was outside on the run, my heart rate stayed pretty low. It only averaged 157. So my zone 3, which is my, tempo sweet spot sort of intensity, that peaks at 166. So it's 148 to 166, and 157 is kind of mid to low. So it's more of a tempo session actually for that. Now, if you compare and contrast that to the second lot, you can see I was 4 watts lower, but a lot slower. So it was about 15 to 20 seconds slower per K. Now, but my heart rate was much higher. Now, 4 beats per minute higher for that 50-minute effort. Now, why is it higher? So you can see up here in the second lot, I did 113 meters of elevation gain, while in the first one it was 70, almost double, 1.5 times. So significantly more elevation gain compared from the first to the second, which, as I've said many times, I do not focus on pace. I focus on power, because pace fluctuates so much based on the elevation. Secondly, it was so windy out there, so windy. It was absolutely a headwind on the second lot, which, contributed to the 20 seconds per K slowness. Now, if I actually look at Strava, and you look at this here, so you see this is the first one. So while there was, I think, 70 meters of elevation gain, it was actually net downhill, so net minus 34 meters of elevation loss. Whereas the second lot, not only was it 150% more elevation, it was a net elevation gain. So, the difference between a net downhill and a net uphill makes a bit of a difference in speed. Now, I'm not too fussed. I'm pretty happy with, this 546 and 603. Very happy with those paces and that power numbers. It actually increased my critical power. So my critical power on this, before this, was set to 299 watts. It's now 306. So because I haven't done really, all I've been doing is like tempo, like sub threshold work. And so it's really good to see, like, when I do these sessions, that we're improving. Now, if I compare this to last week, so 2x50, so 307, 303, so 546 and 603. Now, if I compare it to last week, you can see here my heart rate is actually higher in this set than the last other ones. 2 hours and 607 per K for 285 watts. Also 128 meters, so this is roughly the same elevation gain as my 50 minutes for 2 hours. So you can see it's a lot flatter, but 607 per K for 285 watts is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And it's a very good indication for 3 weeks' time when I do the Goulburn race. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Now this is my last day of training before I get a rest week. And so what I want to do next week is I'm going to go through my whole training, the last 3 blocks, compare and contrast the different sorts of training I do and the progressions I've made, so you can see where I started versus where I am now. If that sort of thing interests you, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Cheers.